in a blink of an eye, I was like, I might not fucking be here to actually go do it. So every single day I'm spending waiting for the right time is a day closer to me not being here. What the fuck am I actually doing?
Hello, and welcome back to this week's episode of Yip to My App. I'm still Erica Starr, and today I'm here with
Jay Jury.
And today we're talking about a whole lot of things. We're talking about positivity. We're talking about dream doomers. We're talking about the right times to cut somebody off, you know, all that good stuff, everything that just helps you prosper. So let's start off with our first question. So who are you and how are you feeling in this season of your life?
I'm Jay Jury. You can call me Jury. And I'm feeling this season of life limitless, incredibly aligned, inspired. And I would say those few things are just, I try to just live in that moment and that feeling every single day because I'm feeling like there's this like momentum that carries when you have that in you, you know? So working endlessly to stay in an abundance mindset and like stay locked in that feeling. Yeah.
So how do you manage that on a daily basis? Because I feel like for me, sometimes everything you just said right now is something that I'll experience in like a really good hour in my day where I'm just like, let's fucking go, let's do this. And then it just kind of crashes.
Yeah, no, that's real. I mean, that's real for everybody. It happens to me too. It's, but I think as honestly, as creatives, this is really important. As anybody trying to just navigate life's ups and downs, it's important. But I think that for us as creators, the thing that I think we spend the most energy on is like the craft, which 1000% we should be. But I would argue that the most challenging thing is the mindset stuff. And it is like staying in that energy and staying in that flow. And so navigating that for me is probably the thing I spend the most time on. I spend probably more time on that than actually making the music that I make or doing the creative direction of the videos or the whatever, like any work with a client, doesn't matter. The hours put in everywhere else now, today in my current like phase of life, I spend probably more time on the mindset stuff. Yeah. So it's just like, it's like another side to the job. I would say it's just part of the way of life. It's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would say like the mindset is probably the most important part because you're the most creative when you feel like your mind has the space to go there. Because when your brain is like cluttered and you're like, you have all these doubts and all this negativity, just stuffing your brain up with smoke and stuff. It's just like, there's no motivation to be creative. You feel like there's no time to be creative because you have other things you have to worry about, which is just all like the bad thoughts and all that.
Yeah.
And it's just like when you get to a space where you're like, okay, like everything that needs to be in order is in order. Something really pretty happens. And in your case, whether that be a song, in my case, whether that be like a solo episode where I'm like, oh my God, I'm passionate about this thing. Yeah, let me talk about it. Like, let me get the mic out and the camera out. Like, doesn't matter. Like I had an episode recently where I came home from an outing with a friend and I was like, I don't know why. My thoughts are just really together right now. And I feel the need to speak on this one thing, get the camera out, get the mic out. I was in my pajamas. I was just like, let's go, let's do it. Yeah. Let's start rolling.
Good on you for taking action in that moment. I think that's the thing that I'm like I'm a perfectionist. Like I come from a very like a space where I always wanted everything to be perfect before I put it out into the world. And it wasn't until I really did the work to let go of that to be able to do exactly what you just said consistently. When you do that consistently, that's like, you're pretty unstoppable.
Yeah. And then so I just started, like a content creation page and I've been going through these like weird feelings where I'm just like, oh my God, it takes so much to create like short form content on a regular basis. It's like, how do I balance just living my life as I want to without like making everything, this could be content. Like, I'm eating dinner. This could be content. It's like, whoa, no, can you like live for a second? And it's this balance between like, like we said before, it's just like getting your brain in a space where it allows you to be creative and finding the time. And I think it's really just like almost like time blocking space to let your brain wander.
Yeah.
And it's tough when you have all these other like real things that need to get done, whether it be, bills need to get paid or the apartment needs to get cleaned or just like little tedious things. It's really hard to make that space or like that, you know, that it's almost like a bubble too.
100%.
Because you close everything else out. It's just you and the magic.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the best way to explain it. I don't know. It sounds corny, but
it doesn't sound corny at all, because
Okay.
I see it and I know exactly what you mean. I think the what you just said is probably the thing everyone struggles with. I think both of us probably struggle with, but it's you just named all the things that we have to, like, as an adult, as a quote unquote responsible adult. Mm-hmm. We'll unpack that later, because I think responsibility is I think it's one of those limiting terms for a lot of people. But we have these responsibilities that we pour so much importance on and energy into, like, I have to pay this, I have to do this. And I feel like, why are we not saying, I have to make sure that I create time for my mind to wander. I have to make sure I have time to play. And I have to create those spaces in my calendar. Otherwise, the magic doesn't happen.
And I think that's like that right there, that I've been having that thought on like a regular basis, because I have friends who don't understand that. And that's always a tough thing. Like an easier example is, like, you know, when I tell my friends I'm busy and I can't go out, and it's because I want to go to the gym. But it's because in my, you know, worldview and the way that I see the world, I'm like, no, the gym is important. Going to the gym is important to me. And it doesn't matter if it's important to you, but regardless of whoever it's important to, I'm going to say no to this other thing because I have my priorities. And I think it's really hard for other people to understand when the priority is something that's creative. And it's something that they don't understand. And it's something that you don't even understand yet, because you don't know what's going to come out of it. It's literally just like, listen, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I know I'm going to do it. And I know it's going to be great. But I need the space to do that.
1,000%.
So I think that the people around you play a huge part when it comes to that. Because if those people don't understand, then it adds another stress. And that's the responsibility stress again, where it's like, got to keep up with my social life and blah, 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 blah. But other people who get it aren't questioning. They're just like, nah, do your thing. Or if they're creative too, they do it with you. And they're like, hey, let's just sit real quiet in this room, see what happens.
No, you're hitting like so many notes that I feel like we're probably gonna spend a lot of time with this conversation about. How hard is it for you to be able to carve off like when people don't understand? How do you navigate those conversations?
I mean, it doesn't need to be a conversation, because for me, the way that I see it is like, well, this is my life. So I have gotten to a point where if hanging out with you and seeing you or speaking to you doesn't serve me in some kind of way, it doesn't make me happier, if I don't feel free when I'm speaking to you, or if I don't feel like myself, or if I don't like, because sometimes hanging out with friends can inspire a whole lot of other things. Yeah. And if I feel like I have to shrink myself when I'm around you for whatever reason, or if I feel like I have to like just be less me around you, then it doesn't serve me. I shouldn't be around you. So it's like, I love when I can hang out with a friend and I come home and I just feel colorful and I just feel like inspired. And I'm like, oh my God, like, I don't know where this second wave of energy came from, but this person just gave me life. I don't want to hang out with people who aren't like that. So
there it is.
That's what I mean when I say like, it shouldn't be a conversation, because those people shouldn't be around.
It's not a conversation, it's a decision. And I think that is, you're light years ahead of so many people in that mindset, because I think a lot of people struggle with feeling like there's this sort of, like family and like maybe friends you grew up with, people you have history with. Mm-hmm. A lot of times those people, I think, can sometimes be, there's this natural, I don't even know why this is a thing, but it's a thing, that there's this entitlement to your time. There's this entitlement to your mind space. And for you to think that way now, like, it's going to serve you your entire career. And I think so many people take maybe their entire career, maybe not until the end, to even figure that out. You know what I mean? So it's a decision, and you decided. There it is.
Okay, so when or where did you find your confidence to be the big dreamer that you are? When did that start? Because you mentioned me, like, being light years ahead, but I feel like for you, these dreams started long, long ago.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. Since I was a kid, like, I can't even remember a time when I wasn't thinking larger than life. I feel like when I grew up, I owe this a lot to my parents, but my parents had always given me sort of the belief that, or the support, that I could do the thing that I was saying I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. But I think also with that, my dad especially he really helped me see and understand what a high level of execution looked like, or what greatness looked like in any avenue that I was interested in. So, I make music, I'm an artist, but as a kid, the first artist that I fell in love with was Michael Jackson. And my dad made me listen to the records, and I'd watch the concerts, I'd study the concerts, I'd get the outfits, I'd practice the dance moves, I'd do it all. And that to me is like at a young age, I just saw what, obviously if you're studying Michael, it's one thing to listen to Michael Jackson as a kid, it's another to like study him.
Yeah.
Same thing when I really started to take on sport. I was a hooper most of my life. And Jordan household, had every shoe since I was a baby. And I just I would study the tapes. My dad had every tape recorded. So I understood very early what the greats were doing to be great. And so I was just without really thinking about it, I was just like, this is just what you do.
Yeah.
I want to play basketball, but I want to play it like that. So I already know, I watched Michael do it. So both Michaels.
Yeah.
So I know what I need to do to get there. And I think a lot of people as that young aren't maybe exposed to it, or maybe just not thinking that way. But I was always a weird kid. I was highly competitive. I just always wanted to be the best at things that I did. Only from a standpoint of it was just fun to be really good.
Yeah. It doesn't feel bad.
So yeah, I think I just when I was oh, I want to do this or that, it was always, since I was a kid, I think it's just kind of been ingrained in me since.
Yeah, I think parents play a huge part in creatives' lives, and sometimes it's in worse ways. But I think that we can agree that parents' role in creative people's lives is huge, because
Massive.
Even for me, for you, your parents put you in a place where studying the greatest made the greatest your standard.
Exactly.
That's what it was. And there was no other way to understand it. There was no reason to, watch an amateur. It's why when the Michaels exist,
Yes.
That's just
literally
for what?
That's literally it.
So in my situation, with videography and the podcasting and, all the stuff that I've gotten into over the years, my dad was the type where he was like, oh, you want a camera? I'm going to get you the best camera and let's just see what you do with it. Both of my parents put me in a place where they gave me as much as they could. It's here's the best cameras. Here are, all the subscriptions to the best video editing softwares and stuff. Do what you can with it. And if you make great things, we're glad that we supported you. And that's it. Nothing was asked of me. It wasn't oh, you have to, make it or whatever by such and such age.
Yeah.
It was more of
yes.
we trust you.
It's permission to explore the thing, I know I actually have friends and people who had an understanding for greatness, and their parents wanted them to be great. So they forced them down the direction to be great. For example, I feel a lot of my friends who were classically trained pianists, for example, a lot of those kids that grow up doing that fall out of love with it pretty quickly because they're reinforced to do it, and it doesn't feel like play.
Yeah.
So it sounds like your parents gave you the space to play while also helping you. And then the same for me. Yeah, I think it makes a world of a difference.
Yeah. And I think that, it's rare that I feel privileged to be able to say that I was able to play with, the types of things that I was given. It's that those aren't things you play with. I had people telling me you're how old and you have that camera? I saved so much money over this many years to even get that camera, or to even, work on whatever things. And I was always very aware of the privilege that I had. And I was just in my head, it was always this thing of well, you better not fuck this up, because, it's just you're pretty lucky. And my parents put me in a place where I wasn't ever really able to see how lucky I was, because for them it was no, this is what we do. We're your parents and we give you the best of the best. And that was my bubble. Yeah. It was just kind of
yo, I'm coming to your house. What's up? Mom, Dad, what's up?
No, yeah, they're the best. Even my dad, when I told him I'm gonna be editing at a higher volume and stuff, I'm gonna need the studio display Mac thing, the Mac studio display. I don't think there's another word after it. It's a desktop.
Monitor? Yeah, the monitor. Yeah, that's the studio.
That thing is expensive. And he went to the store, and the girl was like, I've never assisted anyone who bought this before. They were who is this for? Who's your daughter? And it's just like, no, it's just a dad who loves his kid. And I think I talk about my parents a lot on this pod, but it's
Yeah.
I mean it when I say I wouldn't be me without them, whether it be because of what they gave me or also obviously the love that they have for me. It's just like, I always feel like it's worth mentioning because, you know,
it is. I think all of our parents are part of our story, good or bad. We are, whether it's positive or it's traumatic, we all have like so much ingrained from them. So I love that for you. That's fire. I'm trying to get one of those too. So how I get on the Christmas list?
I don't know, man. It's a tight list.
I've had my studio display for, it's older than that one. It's like an older model, but it works perfectly fine. So I'm like, I don't need to buy a new one.
It's good stuff. It's a good time.
I do love that display's fire though. I'm not even gonna hold you. That shit is hard.
Okay, so you've said one of your biggest fears is growing old and waiting for the right time. Yeah. What does that mean for you in practice?
I think for me, and I'm like living it right now, like in real time. So I was working in a previous career for over a decade. Worked at Nike for the headquarters for 10 years. That was my dream job since I was a kid, and I got to work with all of my idols. I started at Nike basketball, so I was working with like LeBron James and Kevin Durant and Kobe, and working on all their businesses, mainly fashion and apparel. And then when I made the step over to entertainment and I was doing like the Drake stuff, all the Nocta product, there was a time in that transition, like maybe right before, I think COVID really sort of put things in perspective for probably everyone in the world. But me in this time was, it was like maybe 5 or 6 years into my career. And I've been making music since 2006. Like, I'm doing it for a long time. It's always just been a thing that I did on the side. And in the back of my mind, I wanted to take my art full time and be serious about it. But I also really wanted to do these like campaigns and make the products and work for the brand that was my favorite brand since I was a kid. Like I said, I had the J's since a baby. Like I was just infatuated with the Mars Blackman commercials and like the Mike's Gotta Be the Shoes, like all of that stuff. I was like, I want to make that. I want to do that. So when I was halfway through the career, I just basically started to have this really deep feeling of like, damn, I really want to figure out how can I make music cross over more in my day job, my daytime. So I thought going over to the entertainment side would sort of scratch that itch, but it actually pulled me further because I just wasn't. It got more demanding. You know, I'm in leadership and I'm leading teams, and it's like really, it's probably one of the craziest times in my career. But because of that, it took me away from the actual like making of the work, like my art. And in that time, that's when I started to really feel deep in my soul that I was no longer doing what was fulfilling me the most. When I first started, it was the thing. I was like, I made it. I'm here. Like, look at who I'm in the room with. Like, I'm so inspired every day. But it wasn't until I felt like I hit a creative ceiling that fulfillment, then it started to dwindle. And when I finally recognized that, it was a point where I kind of hit like a low where the same time, my uncle, who is actually largely a big reason for me even knowing about the Nike headquarters, I got to go there with him when I was a kid. Mind you, I'm from Cali, so I was visiting. He took me there, and I saw it and was like, I'm going to move here. I'm working here when I grow up, right? So that was kind of how all the next 10 years went and me stepping into that job. But at this time, I get this Drake job, and I'm doing the thing, but I'm feeling less fulfilled creatively, and then he gets sick with cancer. And over time, we end up losing him on my birthday last year, my birthday, 2024, on the day of my birthday. And I remember sitting in the hospital and just like, I was already thinking about stepping away and pursuing, creating the dream life and the fulfillment that I desired again. And when that happened, I was just like, that was the straw. It was it. I was just like, that was just the biggest sign, I think, for me. So running out of time in practice, what it looks like is the reason it's my fear is I don't want to, spend every day waiting for the right time. I think we all like, I I just need to make like this amount of money and then I could do it. Or I just got to get this job first and then I could do it. Or I got to get this connection. Or I got to wait until my abuela this, so then I could do it. You know, there's all these valid excuses, but they are reasons that are pushing you or holding you back from going after the thing. And so when that whole moment happened, I felt like I was sort of, without really saying it out loud, waiting for things to line up. And in a blink of an eye, I was like, I might not fucking be here to actually go do it. So every single day I'm spending waiting for the right time is a day closer to me not being here. What the fuck am I actually doing? And that's where the fear like really happened. And then the other part of it was, I don't want to be 80, 90 years old and look back and be like, damn, I had the talent. People were inspired by me. Like, look at my career. Look at all the things I've done. And this has been 4% of my time that I've actually spent on it.
Yeah.
I don't want to be 80 years old, look back and regret. I think regretting it would be maybe the thing that would take me out as an old person is regret. So I didn't want to be in that seat either. So I was just like, yo, we got to go. We have to go. So then, you know, I had probably the most sought after job, like as an artist, as to work for a brand like that and to be in the seat I was in and the kind of money and golden handcuffs they give you. Like, I was like, I don't need any of it. I'm out. So that was the leap. And that was last summer. So here we are.
So why New York? Like, you could have gone anywhere. Why New York?
I love this question so much because every time we like are out and about and people find out we just moved here, they're like, "Oh, what brought you to New York?"
Like, it's so expensive here.
I'm like, fam, life brought us to New York. Number one, New York's the best city in the world. I've traveled so many places, and there's not a single place that has ever given me the feeling that New York has. In fact, I think some of the biggest cities in the world try to be like New York. So, like, I'm not a New Yorker. I'm not a New Yorker. But we as the U.S. and especially in hip hop, we influence so much of the world. And so much of that influence comes from New York. So I've always been so moved by it. Every time I come here for work, I was just like, I just want to stay here longer. But, you know, I would come once or twice a year. And my wife, she actually has always wanted to live in New York. She almost moved here before she met me.
Oh.
But then right when she met me, I got my first job at Nike, and she knew that was the thing I was going for my whole life. So next 10 years, I'm, you know, wearing all these hats. So I feel like it was this opportunity to one, like, put her in a place to feel super inspired because she was really like ready for a change.
Yeah.
And then two, go to a place where mind you, I'm leaving a really on paper insane situation. I want to live amongst other people who are living outside the box, playing by their own rules. And there's way more of that here than there is where we were at. It's a lot more low key. And to each their own. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But I think we were at a stage where we really needed that change of pace. And it was the perfect timing because to leave, I don't think I could have came to New York any earlier in my career. I could have, but I'm so happy it happened how it did because if I came here to work for another job, it would not be the same fire or battery in my back than the way that it is right now, coming here as an artist and an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're both entrepreneurs, and it's like, what better city to do that than here?
See, so many people have such differing opinions. Some people would be like, New York's the worst place to do that just because everything is expensive. Everything's expensive, and people will be quick to say like, oh, like a 9 to 5 in New York is miserable. And like for some people it is, but it's
like I said, teach their own, right? Like I think everybody has a different point of view and they're entitled to it. And I think when we move on just alignment for ourselves, then because our alignment could have been moving to Wisconsin and having a farm or something, getting some cows, like, but that's not my speed. I am a city guy, yo. I grew up like I've always had city. Like people actually, it's so funny. They see like my stories or just like the way we're moving. Like you guys are built for this place. I'm like, I know. Imagine how we felt when we were in this small town.
Yeah,
like just feeling like caged in. So yeah, there's just so much this place has to offer. And it is expensive, but like, I think you could argue a lot of other places are expensive. And honestly, I think the price is worth the momentum and the energy and the inspiration that I get. I would rather actually pay more to feel incredibly inspired to make the best music of my life than get a place for free that wouldn't inspire me.
Oh, damn.
Because like, what am I even here if I'm not inspired?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm talking? We talked about the magic earlier. I will pay for the magic.
Yeah.
I don't need a free place to stay. Like, I mean, it would be nice. You're going to give me a free place in New York, I'm taking it.
Yeah.
It depends on where it is, but like for real, I have to be inspired. I need to wake up every day, and so like earlier when you were talking about like how do you sort of what does that look like in practice when you're trying to sort of keep that energy or that flow? That's part of it. Is it's my space has to create that for me.
Yeah.
And I have to put myself. It's my responsibility. We're all responsible for that magic, and a lot of us don't take responsibility for that, but we are responsible for how we react to the world. So I want to put myself in a place to win, like energetically. I got to stay in that vibration.
Yeah.
That to me is worth it. I'm going to make more money doing it because I'm in the vibration. I'm going to inspire more people in the world because I'm in the vibration. And if I'm not in that vibration, I'm probably not putting out shit that people are like feeling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So now that we're in the inspiration and creative zone, I want to talk about the vest that you had made with the clocks on it.
Yeah, I love that vest.
So how did it feel when you saw a very similar vest on the red carpet at the Met Gala?
I was like, that's so fire. I think a lot of people get frustrated about seeing their creative ideas in other places and like wishing they were the first or got the credit for it or thinking, oh, they stole this from me. For me, it was just validation. It was validation that I'm creating at a level that, number one, like someone custom made this for Kabi for the Met Gala, the idea that I had. And I'm a firm believer that creative ideas, like they flow through us and they're in the ether. And when it sparks you, you got to take that idea because if you don't, someone else is going to.
Oh my God, you just reminded me of something. Do you mind? Hold on. I saw somewhere that Michael Jackson would wake up at like 3 a.m. and run to the studio because he would feel like that God would give him like a song idea and he didn't want Prince to take it. I literally just saw that online somewhere.
That feels so real. Nah,
I don't know how true
talk.
It is, but that's what I saw on Instagram.
I would be willing to bet it's true because I feel that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that just made me feel like next time I wake up in the middle of the night, I just need to get up and go do the thing. But it's so real. Like I think we don't own that idea. It's 'cause someone else is gonna do it. Maybe not the exact same way as you, but like they didn't do the vest exactly the same way I did. But when you see them side by side, you can be like, oh yeah, they had the same idea.
Yeah.
Right. So I just saw that as validation. It was just so cool because like everything I'm telling you right now, like my journey from leaving a place where I was leading apparel businesses with some of the greats to come and build my own like sort of artist brand and world and try to inspire people with the storytelling that I just am so, just driven to do. We created that vest for that song that I did called Running, which is about running out of time.
Yeah.
Which is why I just wanted like, what's a really fly way I can talk about the concept of time in a way I haven't seen anybody do it. And I was like, and it also has to be authentic to me. Everyone knows I'm into fashion. They know I worked in apparel. I'm going to make an apparel item. And I came up with the vest. And then I just like bought a bunch of watches. Took all the bands off of them, placed them, sort of had the whole vision. And then my wife helped me stitch it all. And to do that, that felt like really good in the moment. But to see it then come to life there was like, oh, nah, yeah, we're in the bag. Like, it's only a matter of time before that's my literal vest on the Met Gala. And it's only a matter of time before that's my vest on me at the Met Gala. Like, we have to take those as evidence towards where we're going. So yeah, that was a really fire moment.
Yeah, I always find it interesting how people, like, I didn't even realize until I went through like the comments on your post that some people might see it as like, oh, they copied you or whatever, because I saw it the same way where it's like, if you, like, I'm a firm believer that there's no such thing as an original thought. Like, it's a variation
nothing
of what
new
you mentioned.
is under the sun. That's a reason that's a cliche, because it's so real.
So, like, even me with, like, the podcast, sometimes, like, I'll watch my own episodes and I'll be like, this is foolish or this is silly. Like, who's going to watch this, blah, blah, blah. And then, like, I watch the podcasters that I listen to, or like I'll see a snippet on Instagram.
Yeah.
And it's like they're talking about something very similar to what I talked about. And like instead of me saying like, oh, they talked about it, before I did, one, they didn't speak about the topic in the way that I would.
Exactly.
And also it just shows that what I'm speaking about is relevant. And I'm like, okay, wait, if that got a whole bunch of likes and views and comments and all that stuff, it's like they just haven't seen me yet. Like that's literally it. They just haven't seen you yet.
Exactly.
Like social media is huge, and it's only a matter of time. Like for as long as, this is where consistency comes into play. Where it's like for as long as you're consistent, the right eyes will find you, and
there it is.
You'll hop on the algorithm's wave.
Exactly. That's why you are going to be successful, because most people who are good at something don't make it because they just give up. They get tired of trying, and it's like you got to be in for the long game.
Yeah.
And when you're in for the long game, I don't really know too many people who don't find success when they're in it for the right reasons. So yeah, I love that for you too.
Thanks. Yeah, but it's also because like when you're in it for a while, like you got a resume. Like, your whole digital media presence or everything that you've done for as long as you've been working on whatever it is you do is all just proof. It's like for anybody who's questioning, like, would you be able to do this 10 years from now? Would you be excited to do this 10 years from now? It's like, well, I was doing this 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So what does that tell you?
Yeah,
you know? So.
Also, like, you're allowed to change your dream. That's literally what I did.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing that I actually just got a comment recently. Someone was like, dang, like the idea of outgrowing your dream sounds scary. I need to make a post about this. But I think we feel like you have a dream job or a dream whatever. And then once you have it, you're like, okay, I got it. I'm here. Like I can just chill now. And again, to each their own, you can chill now.
Yeah.
If you're fulfilled and like life is exactly how you want it to be, to me, that's success. That's making it. But if you reach that thing and then you feel inspired or called, and I like to maybe say called to do something more than inspired, because inspiration, ebbs and flows. But when you feel called to do something, it's a deep, deep rooted thing, right? And if you feel called to do something else that then feels like another dream, fucking go do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think that's when like the idea of like your purpose comes into play.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's like, I've told people that like, I don't know, I feel like the podcast is something I should be doing. And people are like, oh, why do you keep up with posting once a week? Like you can slow down to every other week. And I'm like, yeah, but for whatever reason, I have a feeling that's not going to get me to where I want to be. I feel like I need to keep up with the momentum and stuff. And then like people are like, oh, but you're just talking. And I'm like,
it's not just
yes,
talking.
But it's also my very specific voice. It's my views. It's the people I choose to bring on.
Hey, yo, who's saying this to you? We got to start like.
No, because none of it is
start
like.
carving these people out.
No.
Yeah, y'all done.
It's never people who are like being mean to me. It's always people who I like to believe have my best interest at heart. And they're just kind of like, listen, like, I love that you're doing this and I love that you're excited for this, but how long can you do this without, like, before burning out or before, like, it becomes meaningless or, like, it doesn't do what you want it to do. And it's like, for as long as it has meaning to me, like, I'm going to keep doing it. And that's just the way it is.
That's the way it should be.
So, in the vein of inspiration, how do you keep yourself inspired?
Oh my gosh, so many ways. I think the easy answer is I try to put myself in spaces that, like, I have a few spaces that, like, no matter what, I know I'm gonna walk away and just fill it up. It could be live music. It could be a set of friends, like certain friends that I spend time with. Like when you said, the people in your circle, when you come out of those conversations or those hangs and you're just like, you feel lit up and inspired, like that's really important. Being out in the city and like hitting like really cool experiences. It could be restaurants. It could be going to a cool bar that's playing cool music and the architecture in there is really sick. It could be going shopping. There's so many ways physically of putting myself in spaces that I feel I can get inspired. So I try to like make sure that those things are happening. Another way I feel like inspiration is like sort of being created is my relationship with my wife. We wake up every single morning and spend I love this routine we've gotten into recently, actually. We're just like, she's always been a big like journal in the morning before we start anything. And I like would sort of listen to podcasts or interviews or whatever. And recently we're both sort of doing it on a regular basis where she's reading something or I'm reading something or listening to an audiobook. I don't really read. I'm listening to the audiobook. But we'll journal and like then have conversation about that. And sort of the back and forth creates this like spark for the day. And it's every single day. But even like, not even just that moment, but we'll come back to it at lunch and we'll come back to it at dinner and we'll like, it's just this ongoing thing. So I think, I mean, she's a huge source of inspiration because she challenges me in the right ways. She asks the right questions. She just never lets me settle, you know, like she can tell when I'm settling on a decision. And I'm really good at not settling, but there are times when I'm like maybe overly considering what she's got going on or, you know, maybe just trying to quote unquote do the responsible thing and be like, but then she reminds me like, that's not why we're here. We're here to do the thing.
It's not what got us here. Like
exactly. So she's a big part of that. But yeah, so many ways. So those are the easy ways that I know for sure can happen. The more difficult way or more complex way, I think, is it's that sort of the vibrational energy that I was talking about earlier. When I get that inspiration, I have to do everything in my power to keep it. So the journaling helps, but it's doing the mindset work and sort of it's protecting my energy. My song about that, it's literally that. The best way for me to get inspired and or stay inspired is protecting my energy and cutting out the things, the distractions, the things that pull from that energy. So it could be that someone's like, yo, you know, let's go do, you know, X, Y, and Z. There's a show happening or there's this like restaurant we want to go see. And if I had something planned, whether that's be in the studio or whatever, I get to choose in that moment. I think most people would say, no, I have to do the thing I know I said I'm going to do. What I do is I check my vibrational energy, is my momentum. Like, which one is going to actually keep my momentum going? Because sometimes just staying in a studio isn't the answer. I actually just had this happen.
Sometimes you need some fresh air.
Sometimes you got to get outside. Sometimes you got to whatever, right? So the thing that I get inspired is just constantly almost checking my inspiration tank. Like, it's my job and duty as an artist, as a creative, to never let my inspiration tank fall below a certain amount. Because when it's here, now I've lost the momentum. Now I got to maybe spend, you know, it's like trying to spend like more than a day trying to get it back.
Like at that point, you need like an epiphany or something to really get the ball rolling again.
And I really dislike, I love doing that work because I think it's important. And it is real. It's real life. Stuff happens. But I want to do everything in my power to keep my tank filled. Yeah. You know, so that's the harder thing. It's like keeping it filled. Yeah.
I think for me, when it comes to inspiration, I think the biggest thing that I've realized that really gets my spark going and stuff is putting myself in spaces I wouldn't normally be in. Because I think that something that a lot of people do without realizing it, but we 100% do this, is like you build this world for yourself. And you have all these friends who likely believe a lot of the same things that you do. Like if you get along with someone, it's likely because you guys have a pretty, you know, similar worldview, or like you guys like the same things, or you guys bond over that one thing that you guys both enjoy and you don't really talk about other things. Like you're always around people who have similar interests to you, which is great. That's fine. But at a certain point, like you have the similar interests and you can also have like similar mindsets. So you start to forget that there are people who are out there who believe entirely different things than you do. And I feel like that's when you get reminded of like your purpose and what you should be talking about. It's when you see that there are people who are living, you know, their life with a mindset that to you is horrendous and like, just like, whoa. What do you mean? Like, what do you mean you don't believe in dreams? What do you mean you believe that, you know, you should be stuck in the same place your whole life? What do you mean you got it all figured out at 22? What are you talking about? You know, like there are people who believe that way, but because, you know, if you're good at picking the people that you want around you, because you have like, you know, the bubble that's very ideal and it's full of all the love and light and stuff, you forget that there's anything darker out there.
What you're describing, we take this really, really seriously in our household, and it's understanding different perspectives. Because I do think that that's the thing that makes the greats great. Personally, I think some of the most brilliant people, they understand, like, they don't just know one dimension of like their own lane. It's so funny you say that too, because like naturally, I think over the years I've sort of grown into a person that just that is my circle now. It's like people do different things, and there's different things they give to me as a person. Inspiration, creativity, mindset, financial, just love. Like there's all these different things. It's a melting pot of people. I just had a function at the crib actually, and it's funny. I look back and I'm like, damn, there wasn't one rapper there. People were, coming to probably like, oh, we're gonna probably see a bunch of Jersey like music friends, and like everybody's doing something different, and I think it's beautiful because to your point, there's something that clicks for our brains when you're put in a place that is just a different way. Because then you look at something different and could be the same exact thing or conversation, but when you look at it different, it just like opens your world to like, oh shit, I didn't even realize that's been under my nose the whole time.
Yeah. And you're speaking to it like from a very different point of view, because it's like the way that I see it is more of like I have to get put in situations with people I don't agree with. And then for you, it's bringing light to the differences of the people that you do agree with. So I feel like there's so many different ways to look at it. And
well, even people I don't agree with, like I agree with you.
You're friends with people you don't agree with?
I think that I have friends that there are certain things we don't agree on.
Okay.
But there are also certain things we agree on. And like, I don't need my entire friend group to agree with me, but I do need them to be people that are like loving, inspiring, like not people who settle. But we don't have to agree on the same things, because I do think there's, again, it's perspective.
Yeah.
It's understanding the difference or why. That is sometimes that can be a hard conversation, like in politics, for example, if you got into that, like that's always a hard thing. But there's a lot of things that I'll just be like, I see why you think that, and that's fine.
And that's the part that's always been like, or not always, but has recently been difficult for me, because it's like, it's hard to find people that you don't agree with who are okay with that. Like, I'm okay with that, but if we don't agree and you need to
it's human nature.
Feel right, it's like...
It's human nature to want to be around people that agree with you. It feels good to be around people who agree with you. Yeah,
it's just when the differences are the thing that make them want to not be friends with you, it's like, come on, man. It was just that one thing. Like, we're so great outside of that. Like, come on. So I think for me, it's just a matter of like growing up and finding people who grow up.
Preach.
Yeah.
You drink to that.
So if you think about all the people in your life who keep you inspired, what is one thing that they have in common? Or if there's more things.
The people that are in my life, that keep me inspired.
Yeah.
That's a good question, because it is many things. I think there is maybe a level of there's a level of like buy-in that they have on their own journeys that is inspiring to me. Like the same way that we are so adamant about creating the exact life we want and building what maybe is seen outside the box. And this is not to say everyone in our friend group like is an entrepreneur or is an artist, or that's because that's far from the truth. But a lot of them are. But I think that everyone, for the most part, is really open and down for like this, just the idea of like not settling, like, because when you're around that sort of, for someone like me who is working so hard every single day to make sure that we are not allowing ourselves to settle and see the possibilities, because the possibilities really are limitless, it is such a downer to be around people who don't want to do that. So that is probably a core principle of people who sort of have that in them. There's probably so many. I like for my, it's probably actually by like craft, like artist friends. There's certain things like the way they create is something that I'd keep them around for, and the people who are entrepreneurs, the way they build businesses and think about complex structures is interesting. There's so many things, but there is one core principle, and everybody is like incredibly passionate about people. I think they're like most of my closest people are like a people person. You know what I mean? Like they really love people. Like
Yeah.
they like, I feel their love. I feel like family. Like it's really like that. Cause I'm 100% that. So I love like when that's reciprocated, it's the best feeling. And then you get all the other feelings that I was talking about. You know, so I'd say that.
I feel like that's one thing that's so hard to find is like people who care about people. Cause
Yeah.
I feel like too often you find people who are like, you know, they're stuck in their own world and their own job and, you know, their significant other and maybe like their kids and their own life, which is, it's cool if you
yeah,
could
that's
get by
real.
that way.
Yeah.
But I think that it's really hard to find people who care, who have an understanding of just like the need for community and how important that is to literally just function as a human. And I talk about this a lot, but it's like, I don't think people put enough value on connection with other human beings.
Yeah.
And, you know, I feel more often than not that I hear people complain about like family members and stuff and like being distant with whether it be parents or cousins or siblings and everybody just like, you know, families kind of just drifted away from one another. And I hear it often where it's like, oh, born alone, die alone. Like, I don't need any friends if I don't have family. It's like, no, like that's actually the reason you need friends. Like, it's the reason you need people who care about you for no other reason than because they just care about you. They chose you.
Yeah. I think chosen family is such a like undervalued. I think to people who believe in it, obviously it's not undervalued, but I think largely it's not valued enough.
Yeah.
But chosen family is some of the best family. It
It
really
is.
is. There's something you said that I wanted to almost piggyback off of.
Which part?
Well, it was like,
Something I just said?
yeah.
Sense of community.
Oh, are you familiar with blue zones?
No.
Okay, blue zones are certain. There's a whole
Oh, wait,
document.
are those like the longevity
Yes.
place? Yes.
The places
okay.
people live
Yes, yes.
longer, different parts of the world. And one big aspect, like there's like the way they eat, the amount they move their body. Like a lot of them have like hills, inclines, so they're constantly walking up hills. The work that they do is manual, so they're like gardeners and people who are like still wheelbarrowing things and doing, you know, really moving their body, like as
Yeah.
older people, constantly moving their bodies. But one key component to that is community. And so if for anything, just to live longer,
Yeah. If you care about that at all.
I'm just saying it's real. It's like proven. It's science. It is literally science to that community.
See,
Is
I'm gonna start pulling that one out when people
it's
be
real.
like, "Oh, you're being too sappy." Actually,
Yeah, no, I'm
you're
just
gonna
trying
die
to
first.
dead ass, literally.
Okay. So, opposite of the people that we just spoke about that who love and care for us, there are the dream doomers. So, explain to me what's a dream doomer.
I love that you asked this question because I have to give my wife credit. Kayla coined that phrase. She made it up, and it's a funny term.
Yeah.
When you think about it, but like anybody who hears it, they just laugh at me, like because you know what it means.
Yeah.
But also, it's just like you've never heard that.
Like, where'd you
before.
get it from? Like,
Well, she just made it up. So the dream doomer is essentially anybody that shits on your dream in any capacity. And I think people think like when we initially say it, it kind of sounds like someone directly saying, that something isn't possible for you, which is actually what initially started the term. And I'll tell you that story here in a second. But I think that we have a lot of dream doomers in our circles that we don't acknowledge. And I kind of alluded to this earlier, but it could be family. It could be an old friend you grew up with. Like sometimes there are people who do maybe have our best interest at heart, but their way of trying to show protection or trying to show care is not forward moving.
yeah, it's less than productive.
It's more limiting.
Yeah.
So they have limiting beliefs in themselves. So when you say something that feels grand or what have you, and they can't quite see it for themselves, a lot of times they're the ones who are saying the things like, why are you spending so much time on this thing? Or are you sure you want to do all these things, right? Those just like, and then we as loving people allow it because we're like, well, that's Uncle whoever. That's just how they are. Or my sister's just like that. That's just how she is.
Yeah.
Fuck that. Like, I don't care how nobody is. You don't get, it's a privilege to have my energy. That's how I look at life. If I'm in a space with you, it's a privilege to have my energy. And I also feel privileged to receive your energy and what you're offering. So if that's not reciprocated, then to me that is your my inspiration tank. It's already starting to go down. And when you have more and more people like that in your circle, or you allow them to, you let that stuff seep in, even if you don't believe in it, even if you're like, whatever, you're around that long enough, like it does seep in. Those are limiting beliefs that we gotta like axe. We gotta axe that shit.
Yeah.
So Dream Doomer, essentially, that's what it is. How we came up with it, the literal story. I was with a couple of friends. I had a friend who was visiting town, and he brought a homie out. We all just went to get drinks and maybe dinner. And after dinner, we were hanging out at this bar. And I'm explaining to his friend, because his friend works in music, and finds out, I left Nike and I was doing all these things. And then I started to get a gauge for like what his friend did versus what I did in terms of like our careers. And his friend is like, and this is like not tooting my horn at all. Like, I'm just trying to put in perspective when he said this to me, why this was just like, it just really made my head turn, because I have worked in in a really high capacity. I was in a leadership role. I did all these things that this person was like still trying to crack the door open on an entry level role, and hasn't had a chance to really climb the ranks and be in the big conversations that move the needle, that really make the business move, that like you're telling big personalities, no, Drake, you can't have that. Like he hasn't had the opportunity to do that yet. So when I was describing to him that I left that job to pursue my own art, because now I feel ready. I feel like the time is right now. I can't continue to run out of time. I gave him the whole story. I was just like, anytime I get on the topic, I'm just passionate about it, because I hope to evoke a little bit of that in them and make them feel like, oh, what's the thing I'm sitting on, like, to go, right? So as I'm describing that, the whole time he actually was just looking at me. He's like, are you sure? Are you sure? I mean, it's really hard to do. I don't know. And so and I could tell by his tone that it was from a place of, I work in music. So there's not, and what I had said is, I want to be the artist that the brands want to work with. I want a Puma or a Nike. Like, my biggest dream is to go back to Nike and have them do a collab with me.
Yeah.
That would be like, that's
full
the
circle.
thing. That's a full circle that I'm gonna make happen. And it could be any of the brands that that are in that industry, but that'd be the full circle. So I was describing that, and he was just like, I don't know, man, it's hard to do. And I was just like, in that moment, I was allowing him to say those things. I didn't like cut him off in that moment, but that was a moment where I was just like, okay, he's not registering. But Caleb, she grabs his shoulder and she's like, you need to stop. You're being a dream doomer. And he's like, no, I don't. No. She's like, no, shut the fuck up. And we don't know the guy. We literally just met him. I swear, she's a ride or die. I promise you, that's how it was coined. It was in that moment. This person was shitting on this dream
That is so cute.
And she literally told him to shut the fuck up and called him a dream.
Because like I see the post of her and she seems like so nice.
She
and
is so
sweet.
nice.
So to hear
She's
that,
the sweetest person in the
like...
world. She wouldn't harm. I was gonna say she wouldn't harm a fly. She would harm a spider, but she wouldn't harm a fly. But yeah, she just coined that in that moment. So that's where it came from. And then, yeah, anytime I tell that story, it's so funny, because she's always like, she's got my back, like nobody's business. And that moment to me was the moment that really was, I've already lived in a way that I didn't really allow those sorts of people in my circle. I mean, it was a friend of a friend who came to a thing. It's not like I invited them. I'm not trying to hang out with them. But even in that moment, it just reinvigorated. Like, I'm not going to double down. I'm going to triple down on making sure I don't allow any of that energy in my aura.
Like, you can't accept that at
it's
all.
just not, because it's just a waste of my time. Like, I don't need to. That's where the whole protect my energy, when Sorry Miss Jack, that song came out, it was that experience that inspired it. I actually did the first trailer for the song. I reenacted that exact conversation. It's pretty funny, but yeah.
Does he know?
Oh, he has no idea.
Oh,
I mean, I don't talk to him, so.
I just wonder if he's seen it at any point. It was like,
I mean,
is that about me?
I kind of hope so. I mean, I would hope so, just in the sense that it would be one of those, like, it's not even about like, I hope you see this and I don't fuck with you. It's more, this is how you should be moving in life.
Like, teach a lesson.
it's more of like, I hope you, if you don't get it from this, I just hope down the line someday you realize that the energy you give to people can really like make or break your path and their path. You know? So anyways, dream doomers.
So how do you tell the difference between like constructive criticism and, you know, dooming energy? Like, how do you do that without like cutting off the wrong people?
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't even like, I've been in my career for so long that I've had so much of both sides. I've had the constructive criticism, and the constructive criticism rooted in a place of a colleague who maybe feels less than.
Okay.
So almost hate disguised as criticism.
Yeah.
I've been on both sides. To me, it's really up to all of us to decide how much we value the source of the comment or the information. So for me, it's just like, do we have the same taste level? Do we have the same like level of what greatness is? Do we understand what the goal is and what the end point is? Do I trust this person in all of these avenues that validates them as someone I want to hear information from? And that doesn't necessarily mean they have to think like me or be like me. It could be somebody who's completely different world from me, but they do understand what like greatness is, or they have a level of they're not just shooting this shit, drinking a beer in a corner and talking shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So do I trust the source at the end of the day? And I a lot of times, the criticism that I do listen to is from somebody who is a source that I trust, and is somebody who's like, I know they mean well. And so if they're telling me something isn't good, well, no one ever really tells me that it's not good.
Yeah.
It's good. It's all of it's good, but they give me the nuggets that can make it better. And I'm always open to that, because I think as an independent artist, as somebody who wears every hat in the entire creative process, this is kind of work to get to the level I'm trying. I can't do it by myself. As much as I try and want to, it's just not possible. And so those are the people that I need them to say something, you know? So I'm open to the criticism. It's just, who's the source? That's how I can delineate.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I got no notes on that one. You said all the good stuff.
You heard? Yeah.
Okay, so then for the people who are willing to listen in a positive light, not the dream doomers, do you see risk as something scary or just the price of a fruitful life?
I think there's a price to pay. I guess it's the price to pay, but I think it's like worth the price, you know? Like if you really, no one's ever made anything that was, that has stood the test of time, that has changed culture, that has changed our lives or our view or our perspective, that wasn't a risk for them. Big ideas require risk, and all risk really is doing something with a lot of unknowns.
Yeah.
And I think we're groomed, especially me being in business, like, or going to business school, and like having maybe the upbringing I had too. Like I was always cut from a cloth of like, I need to know exactly what the plan is to make the smart decision. So it's very risk averse. So I think because of that, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that feeling.
Yeah. Because
of that, then I'm not going to allow myself to take risks, because everything's planned. It's like, oh no, I know exactly what's going to happen here and there and there. And all of that you can plan, or at least in my experience, all of that I was planning was still playing inside this box. So even though I was like at Drake's house telling him what I need from him, or telling like LeBron the plan for the next year, and going through all of these like cool like spaces that people will be like, yo, you made it, that's it. That was still within the box. I just made it to maybe the top of the box in terms of fulfillment, but that's still inside the confines of playing in the box. And it wasn't until I decided I'm going to leave that space and try to go create something where all the unknowns started to show themselves. And not show themselves as in like they became answers. I was like, oh shit, I don't know where exactly we're gonna live. I don't know how I'm actually gonna make the same amount of money I was making over here. I don't even know if I can. I don't know, like, there's so many unknowns in what we were choosing to do. But the one thing I did know was that I was going to be leading with fulfillment at the root of everything in my life, my relationship, my creativity, my growth. Those were the things that became more important, that then made the risk not scary. It was a necessary step to creating what we call a dream life. If you want to create a life that feels like a dream in every aspect, every avenue, there's going to be some unknowns that you just sort of have to trudge through. And I think that was the that whole like moment of that clicking for me. I just can't even like think inside the box anymore. Mm-hmm. It's not, the risk is just so worth it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, I have probably, well, I know I haven't taken risks as big as yours, but it reminds me a lot of like just the mindset that I've adopted. I want to say like starting when I was like 19, where anytime something came up and I just said yes to something, whether it be like, you know, when I was 18, I did like this PBS thing and they sent me away for a week to work on something for their news hour, you know, just like little random things like that I would be like, well, I'm going to do it. And everyone's like, but what are you going to do there? And like, you're going to meet all these people and you're going to do like, what story are you going to work on? I'm like, I don't know. I'll figure it out. And that's always been my thing. I've always said, I'll figure it out. When I moved out on my own and I had never paid bills before and, you know, I have a dog and everyone was like, how are you going to do that? I'll figure it out. My thing is like, if you want it, if that's the life you want, you'll figure it out. Like there's no other choice. Once you say yes to the thing, once you sign whatever paperwork, once you buy whatever thing, like figure it out. Like it's just,
everything is figure outable. I think that's the thing that a lot of people that don't have your mindset are maybe that's one thing that holds a lot of us back, is like, oh, I don't know how that's going to work. Mm-hmm. But if you want it bad enough, you can figure out how to make it work.
Because not knowing doesn't mean it's not possible.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And in fact, I would even say not knowing it tends to be the conduit to creating something that is actually limitless. Because if we actually know the finish line, or we know exactly where we're going, we're saying, okay, I'm going here. But if you are chasing something and there's a lot of unknowns, this actually could maybe be way over here. You know what I'm saying? We just kind of settle a lot by setting these like these markers that feel like I have to know everything. I have to know the plan. I have to know exactly how this is going to work. And the thing is, you don't know how to. No, I'm not saying like we didn't. We planned our ass off to make it happen.
Yeah.
But there's still so many unknowns. Because we're creating something new. We're creating something that doesn't exist. And there isn't a blueprint to it. But that's part of the magic.
Yeah.
That's what's beautiful about it.
And like, to put it more plainly for anybody who wasn't picking up what you were putting down, I just want to give an example, because it's like, I feel like I see this a lot where people say like, you know, I have to make this much money to be able to get, you know, this kind of apartment or condo or whatever.
Yep.
And it's like, if you live your life in a space where it's like, it's only to be able to afford this one thing, you're only going to strive for that salary.
Exactly.
When it's like, actually, if you're just kind of like figuring it out and you want to do the thing you're passionate about, and you know that you're going to do the thing you're passionate about with as much effort, with as much ambition as humanly possible, then it's like, well, maybe you'd be able to afford the penthouse and you just never knew because you were always aiming for the condo. Like, I feel like that's like...
That is exactly what I'm saying.
You know, like another way to put it, just because I feel like, you know, I have some viewers who would be on some like, I'm almost like dream doer mentality when they're like, what is he even saying? It doesn't even make sense. You know?
I mean, like put it this way too. That's a perfect example. I think money is a great example, because I think money tends to be what most people would say is the risk that they can't afford.
Always, yeah.
It tends to be money. And when you have I think your example is perfect. I tell people this, there's like this, like, you know, if you're trying to figure out how to do one thing, let's say make X amount of money a month, and you're like, I know that the way to do this is this way, and then you hit a dead end with that, what happens? A lot of people give up, they feel defeated, they feel deflated. But when you allow the possibilities to, when you have the mindset that everything is figure outable, and you then are open-minded to what the other possibilities could be, you start turning over stones you never actually thought. I think sometimes we just try to be so planful, it's to our own demise. We like literally planned it to be this one way when the real answer could have been one of these other million ways, but you didn't even look that way because you were like, nope, this is how you do it. This is how you make this much.
Yeah.
So
so much of it is just like, self-belief. It's like, if you think that you can do it, then you'll do it. Like even me, like even 2 years ago or even a year ago, I'd be like, oh, well, like someone will ask me something like about like some like hypothetical, or not so much hypothetical, but just kind of like a plan for the future where I'm like, oh, like I'm going to start doing this. And it's like a membership somewhere for something. I'm going to start doing this and that maybe in like 2 years. And they're like, how are you going to pay for it? And like my easy answer was always like, I'll be monetized on YouTube by then, or I'll have a brand deal by then. Like,
yeah, I'm
just saying like all these things that I'll have by then. Do I know how I'm going to get them? No. But do I know that I'm every day working towards it? Yes. And that's kind of all you need. It's the self-belief and just hope, honestly.
That is it. That is it. Every single morning when I'm journaling in the morning, or we're doing all this mindset work, like I said, we spend more time on the mindset work probably than anything else. It's to stay in the belief. It's to stay in the belief. We were just reading this this book. Kayla was reading it, and we would talk about every chapter. She'd like break it down for me, and then we just have conversations about it, and then we like practice it. But it's the book's called In the Having, but it's about like the idea of being in the having is sort of the mindset that I can have that. I do, and then seeing evidence that I do have things that prove that that's going to happen. You know what I mean? And so actually just practice. I got a great example of this exact thing. This just happened today. Are you familiar with Outlander magazine?
I am, because you posted it.
Oh, there it is. So Outlander magazine is a fashion magazine, culture magazine, I would argue, but rooted in fashion. And they've been around for a very long time, like probably like 10 years. And ever since I left my day job to start taking my art full time, my goal was I'd like journaled this. I wrote it in my like vision board. It's like, I want Outlander magazine to feature me on a post, on a whatever capacity, but mainly like I want them to post about something I did, because it was the reason for that is I know that once they do, I will have that would tell me, that'd be the trigger that I am creating art at the level at which I aspire to create it, that they would share it. So being in the having, now that I have this mindset today, so last night they just had a party in the city. It was their first, they've just been online for the whole like decade. So their first like actual print came out this past week, and they were having a launch party last night. And I was recording just the line, and then I put my song Running on there, and the song about running out of time. And in that song, I actually mentioned Outlander in the song. And I've tagged them ever since. Like I've sent it directly to them. I've just been trying to get them to see it. Anyways, I tagged them about the launch, and they reposted it today. So anybody who's seen their story has heard my song, saw me talking about Outlander and like my shit being that good to be on Outlander. And they shared it on their story. Now, the old me would have said, oh, well, they're just resharing everybody who tagged them because of the event, because it's a recap. The current me who's in the having, who believes they're going to fucking post my shit, says, no, that's evidence that they saw it. Because I know for a fact thousands of more people tagged them. They selectively chose who they put on that story. So that story is long, but there's like thousands of people that were there. They don't have thousands of I was one of the ones they chose to repost.
Yep.
And my song is on there. To me, that's evidence that I'm one step closer. They've seen it, they heard it, they literally heard it. And being in the having is just recognizing and staying in that belief that it's gonna happen. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that's the idea of the belief work is the most important work. If any work. Like you actually, I'm gonna say this. Also, I hate that this happens so often because I see so many talented people never make it because they don't have the belief, and you have people who aren't as talented make it because they have more belief. Mm-hmm. The belief is our number one job outside of being good at the thing.
Yep.
So I think we just need to put more energy and effort into that belief and treat it like a job. Like, how much time do I have for my job on a 9 to 5? You work in 8 hours. You got a lunch break. You clock in. You check your emails. You do this. You got these meetings. One of those motherfucking meetings needs to be self-belief. What am I doing today to make sure I'm staying in belief?
Yeah.
I'm so real. It's funny, right? But like, it's so real. And kudos to you. I think you're doing a great job of staying in that. There's a lot of friends or people that we know that struggle with belief.
Yeah.
Because they see the thing as like, it's so out of reach. It's so far. I don't see how it's possible. But when you're in the having and you stay in that belief and then you like work, like I'm talking ferociously working at recognizing the evidence of little nuggets that the universe is dropping and saying, this is a step towards it. There's a step toward it. This is a step towards it. It's so easy to ignore those because they're small.
It's really easy.
It's so easy. We overlook them all the time.
I did like a behind the scenes, like little small clip. It was a raw video clip and it ended up on TMZ. And like they had to credit my name and stuff. And I remember seeing it and being like, yeah, but like if I didn't have the connect through the person that I knew to post it or whatever, it's just like, I don't know. But then like I snapped out of it. That lasted like a good hour because after that I was like, hold on.
My video's on TMZ. Come on. Come on.
So I started flipping. I was like, TMZ posted a video that I did. And it's just like, I feel like that kind of stuff is really important. Like even, you know, like the small page, let's not say small page, like the content creator page. That like, you know, it's little switches like that. No, like that's just in real time. Like that's a real thing.
Here's what I'll say is the difference too about people who get it and people who don't. There are people who will see that TMZ situation happen and post it and talk about it and put so much like clout behind it. And not registering that, you know, I think what you just did was you're very like understanding of the climate and you're able to celebrate. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I can understand that it was just shared on the story and I know that's not the same thing. And I'm not going to toot it and talk about it like I just won the Super Bowl, but I am going to count it as a win. And I am going to let that add to my momentum.
Yeah.
1,000%. We have to recognize that.
Yeah.
We got to celebrate every small win. The small wins stack up and they become the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Like I had a moment the other day because I made like a workout video and I tagged Essentia and I tagged something else. I tagged another brand. I tagged another brand in another post. It was like from like my hair, and the Essentia liked the post, and then Essentia wrote me something through DM.
Sick.
And then the hair account, the hair product account, like they messaged me and they were like, "Oh, thank you so much for tagging us." And you know that page right at this point in time has like 61 followers, and in my head, all that it told me, I was like, "Hold on." So if they're responding to me now at 61 followers, they're gonna, you know, I'm going to keep tagging them and they're going to keep seeing me. And eventually when I have whatever follower number that they think is legit, or if they see that over time, I'm like this consistent, you know, customer and stuff, I'm like, I'm going to be on a list. It's going to be so easy to put me on a PR list. It's going to be so easy to invite me out, fly me out to whatever events. It's just like, yeah, it's like, oh yeah, it's just a like, or it's, you know, they just, you know, responded to your post, or even like, I don't know, like I even speak to these brands as if they're just like regular people, because I'm like, whoever's behind the screen on the other end of these brands is someone who I'm going to be best buddies with, because we're going to be in communication constantly and stuff. So it's like, you know, there's this one brand, Baskin Lather, that they DM'd me and they were like, "Oh, hey, we see that you really love our stuff." And I was like, "Oh my God, yeah, I do." And then they like wrote me back with stuff that I should get and like details about like my hair care routine. And like, it all sounds like so simple. And like, of course, like half of it is marketing, but at the same time, it's still like, this brand, someone in that company knows who I am.
Yep.
And my name is somewhere and they're recognizing me. And I'm like, okay, no matter what, this is a start. There are people who, you know, don't even get that far because they didn't even bother to tag because, oh, they'll never see me. Yeah. You don't know that.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
A win is a win. Take anything away from that.
A win is a win. And we got to count it as evidence.
Yeah.
We have to. That like, moral of the story, belief is the most important thing in what we do.
Yeah.
And that's anything. It's not just create. It's literally anything. You want to make any dream happen. Belief is the thing that gets you there.
Imposter syndrome is your enemy. That's
And
for
it's so
sure.
easy to debunk it.
Yeah.
It's easy to debunk imposter syndrome. It is actually. We can do a whole segment about that. But it just starts with the evidence. It starts with recognizing that you have brands who have talked to you, or you have a podcast that how many people have actually watched episodes of. Like
Yeah.
that's evidence that there's something here. So that imposter syndrome, I think it's natural. But what it really is just means you just like are surprised at the level up you just had. And you're like, oh shit, I'm like actually here. Like,
And another thing that
that's all it
also
is.
that helps too is just like comments in general from people. Like when you get a comment, it's like, "Oh my god, this episode made my day. It was so funny." It's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, hold
Yeah.
on, someone's a real human. It's not a robot." Like
Yep.
That's my first thought. Anytime someone comments and it's like a legit comment and it's like has like real human emotion behind it, it's like, "Oh my god, it's not a robot. This is real." Like.
Yeah.
I impacted this one person's life in some way and I have proof of it.
Yeah.
That's another thing. I feel like a big thing for creators is you never get feedback, especially in the beginning when people are so scared to comment. People will like so fast, they'll view so fast, but they won't fucking comment.
Yeah,
And
or
I
they
feel
just
like that's
comment
like,
a flame emoji.
yeah, and it's
like,
just,
yeah, but what you really think?
it's like, dude, like when I get like random DMs and stuff where it's just like, oh my God, I see that you've been consistent for so long. I'm so proud of you. And it's this random person in some other random state. I have someone who watches from France.
That's so fire.
And he'll send me stuff and he'll be like, oh my God, this episode was so funny, or this snippet like made my day. I'm like,
see, and who knows who that person is or what they have connects in, but you might end up in Paris one day and have a hookup because of that person.
You
just
never know. And that's another thing to say for creatives is like, don't be like ungrateful when, when to some people it's like, oh, just a comment from some random person. Meanwhile, I'm over here like, it's a comment from some random person. Like, it's just, you don't know who that person is. And it's not to say to always look for people who have connects and to only ever be in it for the connections and what it can get you or whatever. But it's just a thing to just be grateful that you're being seen.
To me, it's like you're being seen. You actually have something that it actually is working because there are people responding to it.
Yeah.
So even though it hasn't blown up, this is something I fell victim to while I was still at Nike, because I was putting out music that I thought was top tier, and I had people who loved it, but my following wasn't growing, and I felt like, damn, like I was getting really flustered or frustrated with that, where I wasn't getting the traction that I wanted from it. And I wasn't recognizing or staying in that sort of, in the having. I wasn't allowing myself to be grateful for the positive I was getting, And I graduated so much. I mean, this is like back during COVID. COVID has something to do with it too. COVID made us all,
aware.
I'm so happy we're past that. But yeah, anyways, you're just so, like I said earlier, like I think you are light years ahead of a lot of your peers because the belief and the positive energy that you exude when you're working through all of these things is something so many people struggle to, one, find, and two, stay in.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that's going to make you go further.
Thank you. I don't know how to take compliments. That part is hard. I could talk all this talk, and if someone says something nice, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna cry.
Yeah, no, it's real. It's real.
Okay, so now on to protecting your peace and choosing people. So what does protecting your peace and energy actually look like? Because people talk about that all the time.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I'm so intentional with everything in life now. So to me, protecting my peace is being intentional with who I spend time with, where I go, how I create, where I create, keeping like the promise or staying responsible to myself in that whole conversation around energy. Like I have to block anything that takes me out of that or zaps my inspiration tank. So it looks a number of ways, but like those are every week, like every Sunday we plan our week and we look at the goal. At the beginning of every month, we plan the month, but then week by week we will plan on a Sunday. And the thing I'm really using that planning session to do is, how am I protecting my energy this week? Okay, how are we we're like maybe planning a date night because that's something that
I think keeps us in an alignment. Then and then we're planning like, okay, you have meetings at this time and at this time, but at what point are we going to work on this business endeavor that we're planning to do? Because we're both inspired and excited to do it. So we got to carve time to do that. Oh, she's writing a book, mind you, like a book series. So like carving time to make sure she can write the book series, carving time to make sure I have the studio time that I need. Where are we seeing friends that we want to actually spend time with? Where are we going that like is going to maybe be a new culinary venture? Because we're big time foodies. So I'm trying, like, I don't know how much you see my stories, but
No, yeah,
at
I see
least
it.
I could be a food blogger if I wanted to be, because we love food. Like, we're foodies, and just because you like food doesn't mean you're a foodie. Like, I'm a snob about it. Like,
No,
I'm
100%. Because it's like, I like to eat, but I'm no foodie because I'm picky. I'm not big on exploring.
We're exploring everything, and I will pay any amount to have an experience that blows my mind. It's art, it's storytelling, it's craft, it's experience, and it can be anywhere from one figure to four figure. I'm good with any of it. It just has to be amazing. Just has to be amazing. I don't do four-figure dinners like that. By the way, I'm like, that's like,
it's not often.
No, I don't need to. That's just OD. I don't need to do that. But definitely, when we have, it's like, it's the experience. And so to me, as I'm looking at the week, it's like, where are these moments happening? And if I don't prioritize that, then my peace and my energy is not being protected. I'm allowing other things to encroach on that, which is then zapping my tank. So that's like a big part of it. It's just being super intentional with every sort of detail or decision that I allow to take time for me. Because time, at this point in life, I just feel like time is, it's so funny. Cliches are cliches for a reason. The older I get, I'm just like, damn, that cliche is so real though. Like, you know, but time is money. It's like the thing I almost would, like, clients pay me for my time. But there are some times where I've worked on stuff where I'm like, that wasn't worth the time.
Yeah.
The money wasn't worth the time because I could have done, you know, X, Y, Z, whatever. So yeah, protecting my peace it's a daily practice, but it's rooted in intentionality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like protecting your peace too, it's like you have to be very okay with sounding a little off to certain people. Cause it's like, you know, like everything that you were putting down, I was picking up, you know, but it's like, I feel like other people hear that and they're like, it's just a dinner date. It's just food. It's just this. And it's like, no, but when you're able to recognize the little things that, you know, bring you joy and that just like make you happy, it's like, why wouldn't I want to be really happy and full of joy minimum once a week? Like, why is that not a life that's worth curating for myself?
Here's what you just said, I think, is the thing that I hope my art and my voice inspires. And that's, I don't want people to just experience that once a week. I believe that we can have it all the time. And now life does have its lows, and like that, there's good and there's bad. There's real trials and tribulations we're going to go through in life. That is how it works. But in the moments that we have control over, why not be fucking lit up, happy and inspired? Why would you not choose that?
Like, why are you waiting for the weekend?
And I just like, I'm just so far beyond that thought. And I know that I'm delusional in that way to a lot of people. And so I think my audience, like, I'm very approachable. So I think like I've been on the other side. So I understand where a lot of people are coming from. And I keep saying this, but to each their own. Like, there are people who don't think that a dinner date is worth an X amount of money. And that's okay, because all I want you to do is do the thing that just lights you up. That could be whatever. That could be anything. That could be riding a bike. That could be just going to the taco truck, which I love both of those things. But like, maybe you like to spend your money on, I don't know, paintballing. A snowball, something. Like,
you collect things. You do like Lego
whatever
things.
it is. Just choose the dream life. That's like the thing I'm trying to, we always talk about this idea of like not doing the thing we should do, doing the thing we desire to do. So like stripping the shoulds. And so protecting my peace is having no shoulds in how we move. I don't want a single should. I'm not doing anything because I should. I'm doing it because I fucking want to do it.
Yeah.
And that's how I've like created this sort of forward movement and like abundance mindset. I think it's once I've unlocked that, then I'm like, okay, now I'm not worried about if someone else agrees with me. Because I also understand that what I love is not what you love, and that's fine.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think that people often don't like even try to recognize what are the things that make them happy.
Well, that's it.
And stuff.
Because
Like,
they're stuck in the shoulds. A lot of times
Yeah.
you're stuck in the shoulds. We don't allow ourselves to see the possibilities or
Yeah.
see like, I love doing this thing, but I have to take care of the kids, or I have to, I have to go to I have to work, and I'm tired, and all these things. And it's like, I just don't think we take our life serious enough.
Because it's like, why not create a world where you're not tired? And maybe that means being healthier. And maybe that means, if you got to spend time with the kids, like, okay, maybe that means building a life with your kids where you guys do fun things together
Yeah.
and everyone equally enjoys things.
Yeah.
Like, I think that there's like this weird thing. And I mean, I feel like I've been noticing this for a lot of people in their 20s where it's like they're just discovering free will. And it's like they're just realizing that, hold on, after work, I don't have to go home
Yeah.
and go to bed and do my... It's like, maybe after work, I can go get dinner and go to this new place with a friend. Because I feel like food keeps coming up. But it's because this happened with me probably a few years ago where I was like, hold on, like, I don't have to wait till Friday, Saturday, or Sunday to see my friend. I can, I can just pop up at their house maybe and like they'll cook food and we'll eat together, or we order in, or like I can pick random days to do things, and it doesn't have to be on a specific day just because that's expected or because I should only do that on the weekend. It's just, I don't know. I feel like there's this weird thing where people aren't exploring, I guess, what their life could be. And
I think a lot of it is exposure too, though. Like, I was exposed to everything I'm saying. Like, a lot of the shit I'm saying right now might be the first time people are hearing it, or hearing that it's okay to choose that. Maybe they thought it, but it's like, I have to do these other things, though. I have to prioritize these other things. These other things are more important. And I also know for a fact that like life's like literal living circumstances may be different for everybody. And like, this is like someone like my wife grew up in poverty. She was homeless. She was like a very, very difficult upbringing. And she's the person who has really opened my mind to a lot of this thought work. You know what I mean? Like, I think all walks of life, like everyone has their circumstances that might make things harder for them than it is for someone else. But I even still believe that creating a happy, fulfilled life is a choice. It's just, you just have to make the decision that you want that bad enough. And I just think there's the decision, and then there's almost two. There's two. There's the decision that you have to make you want it bad enough. And then a lot of people will make that decision, but then they don't give themselves the permission to do it. And the permission is huge. That's probably that permission is probably the thing that harms most people from getting there. They feel like they are not allowed to. And it could be from their family that's made them think they're their significant other. I know so many people who are in relationships with a partner who's like, doesn't think they should do the thing that they want to do. And so they don't do it. And it's like and those are, go figure, those are people I don't spend time with anymore. But like, I just feel like the permission part, that's our duty, I think. Kayla, myself, anybody who thinks like this, I just want everyone around me to believe that they have the permission to make the decision, to go do the thing they want to do.
yeah. So you talk about Kayla a lot, and I was excited for this question. I told you this when we first met. So I want to know how much of a role your wife plays in your life and how important it is to have someone like that or like her, in your life, and especially when you do what you do, especially when you have the life that you have and, the type of life you want to lead in the future.
Yeah. Well, I feel like I've already given away a lot of like how she does it. But yeah, I think number one, she's always been like a very positive minded, open-minded, and really energetic person. Like her energy's on 1,000. When you meet her, there's just like ball of energy and like light and playfulness. There's like this kid energy in her that she's just never let go. And I've always found it just like, I've never met anybody that has it like her. So it's always been, and to me, I'm always like, when I first met her, I was like, how do you have this sort of viewpoint on life when you've had it harder than damn near everybody I know? And people actually would look at us like, when we were living in Portland, and I first met her, she had this like really sick little 1 Series Beamer that she had just bought, and she was a teacher, mind you, and like was able to figure out like how to set her life up in a way that just made her happy. And when people met us, I know for a fact that people would just assume, and she's white, mind you, assume that she's the one who had it all handed to her, the privileged white girl, and I was the one that had the hard upbringing because my mom's Mexican, my dad's black. Because I'm the person of color, I probably had it harder. And as couldn't be more far from the truth. And then so in like when I first met her, I'm just like, how are you like this when your upbringing was not, it didn't set her up to be that way, but she's done all the work to, and even since then, we've been married now for 9 years, going on 10 next October. And her role in my growth over the 10 years of us, obviously been together longer than that, but I would say about halfway through, around the time when I was at Nike, like around the like midway point of my career, I really started to, she was a really strong support system and like taught me to like appreciate the wins and celebrate everything early. So like that kind of like stuff was there. That was there all the time. But it wasn't until we got closer to this idea of maybe Nike isn't the thing anymore did I start to open my mind up to so much more thought work and this belief work and getting quote unquote a little more woo woo about like the spiritual energetic part of the journey, and really like trying to understand how that would change our life. And it has changed everything. I would say that Kayla's been like the entire reason why I'm where I'm at today, because we've just spent so much of the last, like, particularly the last few years doing a lot of this like thought work together. But it's been such a journey that it's been so transformative. You know what I mean? And it's brought us closer together. And then like when it comes to the business side of things, like we're like building things together. The fact that she's writing now, we're like both creating together in different ways. And so we're both so locked in on this idea of like creating the dream life. And what that essentially means is what we do for work, how we live our life as a relationship, where we live, our lifestyle, our relationships with the world and the people around it. It's all a dream set, like a dream state scenario, right? So I owe all that to her. Like that would not have, if I was still in like living inside that box, there's nothing wrong with being in, like, mind you, you don't have to quit your job to live a dream life. Like your dream could be to have a certain job at a certain company, and that's okay. But for me, the thing I think I really needed was the growth mindset that I've evolved into to be able to choose the thing I wanted most and not conform to what I felt I should.
Yeah.
And she's really been 100% the reason why I believe in navigating life the way that I do now. It's all her, for sure.
And like even from what you said earlier, it feels like she also helps you give the permission to yourself that you were saying that was hard for.
Totally, yeah. I mean, she's a life
people.
coach. And so it's like one of the biggest things that I think when we were even talking about the move was a lot of it was permission. It was like permission to take that leap, permission to actually go for it. And I had I think I was getting the permission well before I had the belief.
Yeah.
And then the things that eventually, like the role that, I hit the ceiling the way that I did. And then, I lose somebody close to me. And then I have all these other things that happened well after the permission was there. But I just didn't have that belief quite yet.
Yeah.
And so once the permission was there, then I made that decision. Like we were talking about earlier, you got to have the permission, give yourself permission, and then you have to make the decision. And I made that decision largely in part to all of the work that we've done together, but that she's done for me. She's just got my back. Like she is literally the reason why I'm even doing what I'm doing today. Facts. Like, and she'll blush and say, no, you're just great. And it's like, yeah, I mean, I won't lie. It's like, it is nice to be someone who's ride or die for her partner and his partners actually fire at what they do. Like, it would be like, you know, the scenario like, come see my boyfriend or my husband. He's
whole
performing at
thing
the
is
stage, and you go like, oh my God.
She'd be there even if you weren't where you were at.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She would be. And I think my belief in myself and then my work ethic to be great, like, is a culmination of like, it's the recipe to what we're living now. So yeah, I'm like, she's my biggest cheerleader, but I'm so inspired by her because to have the mindset that she has after everything she's navigated in her life it's like, like, truthfully, I'm like, if she can believe, why the hell can I not believe? You know what I mean?
I think it's always nice to hear creatives have like legit and solid partners because I feel like that's always something really important. Like,
Yeah.
it's when you know, when it's already hard to believe in yourself, to have somebody who's in your corner who none of your ideas sound crazy to, who every dream that, you know, where every dream that you speak of just sounds like normal and it sounds like something that they're like, okay, so how are we going to do it?
Yep.
How is that happening?
Yep.
What are the new routines that we need to put in place? What is it
Yeah.
that, what's the mindset that we're taking on, you know, over the next few months and stuff? Like, to have someone who's always like, not only just like supporting you, but like actively thinking about you and like whatever it is that you want to strive towards whenever whenever you doubt yourself or whenever you do something out of the ordinary and they're like, does that sound in line with the thing that you know?
Yeah, I'm glad you said that because the alignment part is a big part. Like, making sure we're both walking in alignment with like the feeling like we're doing things from a point of purpose, but does it align to the thing that is bringing the fulfillment?
Yeah.
And anytime we're making a decision that isn't in alignment, a lot of times that decision comes from a place of a should, like doing something because we feel like we should, or not giving ourselves permission to do it differently. And so that's like the thing we are able to keep checks and balances and make sure that each of us is walking in alignment. So yeah, 1,000%. And nobody talks about it, like, particularly in hip hop. That's the thing for me that I really feel like I have an opportunity to shine light on is not only is like all of this mindset stuff I'm talking about, like, contributing to making better art, staying more inspired, and then living like a happier life along the process. But there's not a lot of rappers that have a partner, let alone are married and have been married for as long as we have and are doing this like creative journey together in the way that we are, and talking about it and being open about it. And like, it's just such a, most rappers, either the partner's like behind the scenes and doesn't show her face, or his face or their face, and or they're single and they're talking about the same shit every other rapper's talking about. It's just not the culture to live the way that we live. That's not the hip hop culture.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna change that shit. Like, that I just feel like the life is so much sweeter when you can look at it from the lens of creating a dream life together. And again, not to say other people aren't doing that, but I do think there are people who are looking at me who have a partner, maybe are in a place that they wish they weren't in and don't believe they can go do the thing, and feel like maybe their partner may or may not come along with them, and they're just trying to, like, this is evidence, and I get to be proof for that person and be like, wait, I can see someone like me, like, in my scenario, someone who came from the corporate space, or someone who came from, who is married, who is navigating life with someone else. Like, it's possible.
Yeah.
And so that's what I do. Everything I do, like, I know my audience is either in that bucket or can relate to that to some degree. I don't do this to be relatable to the people who are Lil Baby fans. Like,
Yeah.
it's fine. Like, it's okay. I don't need, it's okay.
Yeah.
I'm really not pressed.
100%. Okay, and now that we're at the end of the pod, is there anything that you just want to let the audience know that you feel like you haven't drilled in enough on this pod, or anything completely new that you're just like, you know what, actually, I'm gonna leave you with this?
I have one thing I'll say, and this is like I have to promote this thing because there is something I'm starting called Pay It Forward. I don't know if you saw me launch this, but Pay It Forward. I just like if you really enjoy hearing sort of this type of conversation, like when you and I had like a one-on-one chat, I always just wish people could hear those conversations because they're nuggets. They're things that I think could maybe apply to this person or that person in different ways. But I always felt like, man, I wish there was a way like I could allow people to hear these convos and also just go live more frequently to show my creative process and then how my brain works. And so I started a thing that you can join and just be part of that. So I'm gonna have to maybe have you come in and just come be a fly on the wall, or be one of the people on the know in the convos. But it's just like a creative. I'm gonna be starting my new album and the whole process from the creative direction and the concept all the way to the production to finishing it. I'm gonna be talking about my process, but also all of this thought work along the way. So it's just a safe space and just a way to create differently and be inspired. So I would say, come join the channel for that.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for coming on. I'm really grateful that you got on and that we had this conversation because I don't know. It's rare that I get like extra excited here on the pod.
Hey, yo.
Yeah. So
That's amazing.
Yeah. That is all from us. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Give 5 stars if your platform allows you for you to do so. And yeah, I think that is all. I love you guys, and I will see you next week. Bye.
Peace.